Hey folks, Mr. Dell here. We are looking at um, applying some exponent rules with negative and fractional exponents. So this is a problem. These examples I'm pulling from CPM, the Integrated Math 2 curriculum, section 9.1.3, number 9-34. It says, simplify each of the following expressions. Be sure that your answer has no negative or fractional exponents. So let's re-explain each of those, okay? As we see in A, we have a negative and fractional exponent. So remember negative exponents, right? Negative exponents do not make negative numbers. Negative exponents create reciprocals, right? That means if I were to have, say, 2/3 all to the -1, that's the same thing as 3/2 to the +1, right? So when you take something and make it a reciprocal is that you switch the denominator and numerator, it changes the sign of the exponent to be positive now. Okay, another example would be if I said 4 to the -2, well, the reciprocal of 4 is 1/4, right? Because you can put that 4 over 1 and just flip it. So that becomes 1/4 to the +2. So that's what negative exponents do. Okay. So the first step with this would be to make this a positive exponent. So this becomes 16 because the reciprocal is taking the 1 over 16 and making it 16 over 1. And 16 over 1 is just 16. And then that's to the +1/4. Okay. Now we got to determine what that 1/4 means. Well, a little other note here. Fractional exponents are roots, right? So meaning square roots. So if I said 9 to the 1/2, that's the same thing as the square root of 9. Uh, if I said 8 to the 1/3, 8 to the 1/3 is the same thing as the cube root of 8, right? Square root, remember, you don't normally put the little 2 there, but that is implied. It's a square root if there's no number there. Square being, I'm looking for the number that multiplies by itself, right? Because 3 times 3 equals 9. That means the answer here is 3, right? And this one, because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, the answer here is 2, right? So when you have a fractional exponent, it's a root. It creates roots. That denominator tells you the root. So that part is the root that we're dealing with. So if I look at my number here, so now I've taken 16, now it's to the +1/4. That means the same thing as the fourth root of 16. So I'm looking for a number that multiplies by itself 4 times to equal 16. Well, that would be 2. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16. So therefore, the fourth root of 16 is 2. So the answer to A is 2. Okay. B, this time I've just got negative exponents, and they just create reciprocals. So x to the -1 is the same thing as 1 over x to the +1. Y to the -3 is the same thing as 1 over y to the +3, right? You create these reciprocals, and then we can clean that up still, because 1 over x to the first is just 1 over x times, and then 1 over y to the third is the same thing as 1 on the top. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. On the bottom, y to the third, which one more step, we clean that up and just put the x and the y together. So there's our answer to B. Last one, C. Looks like all we have is a fractional exponent, which again is a root. So this is just saying, what is the square root of 25x to the fourth? Well, we can take the square root of each of those separately, right? So the square root of 25 and then also the square root of x to the fourth. So the square root of 25 is 5. Square root of x to the fourth. Remember, I'm looking for two things that multiply to be x to the fourth. In this case, it's x squared times x squared is x to the fourth. So my answer there would just be an x squared. So there's my final answer, that one, 5x squared. All right, there you go.